On a cold, silent morning of September 11th, 2025, the stillness of the Ukrainian countryside was shattered by a slow, relentless rumble. At exactly 4:50 a.m., a Russian military convoy began its journey south. 42 vehicles packed to the brim with weapons, ammunition, and fuel rolled forward with deadly purpose. Inside those trucks were over 800 artillery shells, 25,000 gallons of diesel fuel, RPG-7 launchers, and powerful machine guns. Leading the formation, two armored carriers weighed down the column, their steel bodies gleaming under the faint light of dawn. But what the convoy didn't know, what the soldier inside those vehicles never suspected, was that death was waiting for them along the roadside. Hidden, silent, and deadly. 24 Ukrainian FPV drones lay in wait, poised to strike with surgical precision. These were no ordinary drones. Each was a miniature weapon of destruction, armed with a PGSBL warhead capable of piercing through 400 millimeters of steel. Flying at speeds over 48 miles per hour, these small machines packed the punch of massive artillery, yet cost less than $25,000 in total. Lying concealed beneath dense brush, their rotors silent, their frames masked by thermal shielding, these drones waited for the moment to unleash chaos. The ambush corridor stretched over 1.2 miles, a calculated kill zone aligned perfectly with the Russian convoy's known route. Weeks of intelligence work had mapped every movement, every pattern. The 65th Mechanized Infantry Brigade had prepared for this moment with patient, cold calculation. This was precision warfare at its most brutal. A silent battle between high-tech drones and heavily armed vehicles. A test of innovation against sheer mass. At dawn, in the heavy humid air of Tarpinia, the stage was set. The question was, would this swarm of improvised flying killers rewrite the rules of modern warfare? In this video, we discuss the incredible story of how small, low-cost FPV drones transformed a heavily armed Russian convoy into a blazing inferno. We break down the precise tactic, advanced technology, and daring planning that made this strike possible. You'll see how thermal sensors map the battlefield, guiding drones silently and swiftly through a deadly ambush corridor. Each explosion not only destroyed vehicles, but sent shockwaves that shattered steel and shook enemy morale. This isn't just a story about machines and weapons. It's a new chapter in modern warfare, where innovation, courage, and tech redefine power. To keep up with more in-depth battlefield analysis and the latest military tech, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned as we reveal the full mission. As the clock struck 4:50 a.m., the silent tension broke with sudden fury. All 24 FPV drones launched in unison, their rotors screaming like ghosts tearing through the pre-dawn silence. In a heartbeat, they shot out from their hidden positions along the roadside, accelerating to speeds over 48 miles per hour. The lead armored carrier, a massive MTLB weighing over 26,000 pounds, was the first target. The drone hit it directly on the nose. The warhead, a 5.7-pound PG-7BL-shaped charge, detonated instantly. A blast of copper and explosive energy tore through the steel front like it was made of paper. The armored shell folded, crushed under the sudden assault. Inside, shockwaves rippled through the crew, shattering the calm of the morning. Almost simultaneously, two drones struck the massive fuel tankers nearby. The thick steel tanks ruptured, spilling thousands of gallons of diesel in streams that caught fire on impact. Flames erupted, towering high above the convoy, a blistering fireball that soared more than 150 feet into the air. The heat from the inferno surged past 2,700 degrees Fahrenheit, intense enough to melt steel and flash, ignite the dry roadside brush. The shockwave from the blast thundered through the column, steel fragments flying over 400 feet away, smashing into vehicles, shattering glass, and sending men sprawling. The convoy instantly locked up. Vehicles slammed into each other, their drivers blinded by smoke and chaos. Communication lines went dead. Command links were severed. The road was no longer a route, but a death trap. Following close behind, 6 more drones wasted no time. They tore into the next row of trucks, loaded with artillery shells, mortars, rockets, and ammunition crates. Explosions cascaded down the line one after another, like a chain reaction of destruction. Windshields exploded inward. Tires blew apart with thunderous roar. Black smoke thickened the sky, blotting out the rising sun. From a hidden command bunker, located 12 miles away, Ukrainian operators watched as the thermal screens lit up red and then went dark, targets disappearing one by one in infrared. The convoy's movement stalled completely, trapped in a rapidly spreading furnace of fire and steel. Within just 1 minute, over 10 vehicles were either burning, immobilized, or engulfed in secondary detonation. The seemingly endless convoy was folded back upon itself, smashed and twisting in the fiery chaos of the first wave. Right after the chaos of the first assault, the second wave of drones launched with ruthless precision. 18 FPV drones, each still armed with the deadly PG-7BL warhead, fanned out across the shattered battlefield. No target was left to chance. 3 drones broke formation, zeroing in on Kamikaze trucks loaded thick with artillery shells. These weren't random strikes, they were calculated hits designed to maximize destruction with terrifying efficiency. At full velocity, the first drone ripped through the sidewall of a truck, slamming into a crate marked with 122mm round. The warhead detonated near the rear axle, igniting an inferno inside the cargo bed. One by one, the following drones struck the other 2 Kamikaze trucks. Explosions tore through crate, ripped metal restraints apart, and triggered a chain reaction of secondary blast. Over 400 artillery shells and mortar rounds ignited in chaotic bursts, each blast rolling over the asphalt like thunder across a stormy sky. Flames leapt across a 30-foot radius, engulfing nearby troop trucks. Canvas coverings ignited quickly, turning into blazing banners that waved above the convoy. Ammunition boxes exploded one after the other. Tires burst into flames, sending shockwaves of heat that warped steel frames and shattered nearby glass. One drone aimed straight for the rear MTLB armored vehicle. It hit the turret ring on the side, bending the armored steel inward with a powerful explosion. Another drone hit an Ural truck carrying RPG launchers, the blast sending the truck's cab flying 20 feet down the road. A second Ural lost its entire rear axle in a separate devastating strike. The heat warping the air above the battlefield was so intense, the asphalt beneath began to bubble and melt. Roadside grass ignited in patches, and a fiery haze blurred the line between smoke and flame. The destruction was complete, organized, systematic, echoing the cold precision of the attacker. As the fires burned and the convoy lay shattered, a final wave of 6 FPV drones launched from concealed position. Their mission was clear: finish what the first waves had started and eliminate every last trace of resistance. These drones had been assigned specific priority targets, each chosen to cripple any remaining movement or defense. One veered sharply toward the last functioning Kamikaze truck at the convoy's rear. The impact was devastating. Explosives on board detonated with brutal force, splitting the chassis at the 5th wheel, coupling and rendering the vehicle useless. Another drone targeted the front Eurofour troop truck, which was desperately attempting to reverse out of the ambush zone. The drone struck beneath the fuel tank, unleashing a vertical fire tornado that engulfed the cab in a blistering heat burst. The explosion flung the truck's hood 25 feet down the road. A third drone locked onto a Ural hauler trying to turn around. Its explosive strike triggered multiple onboard detonations, lifting the cargo bed several feet before it collapsed in a heap of twisted metal and burning debris. The remaining drones zeroed in on support vehicle. A maintenance trailer was shattered, with hydraulic equipment tossed into the tree. Another ignited the side tank of a fuel carrier, sending a horizontal jet of flame sweeping across 4 feet, bending vehicle doors and shattering windshield. The last drone slammed into a BTR-80 armored vehicle stationed at the rear for protection. The blast ignited internal storage compartment, leaving the tank a burning skeleton. The final drone struck a UAZ 452 medical van, breaking the axle, shearing the roof, and scattering medical supplies over 100 feet. What had started as a single, coordinated ambush had escalated into a full-scale annihilation of the entire logistics column. The air thickened with burning rubber, diesel fumes, and choking smoke. The asphalt beneath was cracked, melted, and cratered in all directions. Steel fragments, transmission cases, axles, and twisted gear housings lay buried in roadside dirt. Dozens of vehicle carcasses were locked in strange angles, some tipped by blast, others flattened under their own wreckage. In less than 10 minutes, a corridor of flame and destruction stretched over a mile of road, turning millions of dollars worth of equipment, fuel, and firepower into ruin. As the smoke began to clear and dawn broke over the ruined battlefield, the true scale of the destruction came into focus. The $50 million convoy, a vital lifeline of weapons, fuel, and supply, was reduced to nothing more than twisted metal and burning ash. But this story isn't only about machines lost or battles won. It's a powerful reminder of the changing face of warfare. Today, a few dozen low-cost, remotely operated drones can obliterate an entire supply line in minutes. Precision now rules over mass. This strike sent a clear message. No supply route, no matter how heavily guarded, is truly safe. Even the most fortified convoys can be vulnerable to invisible, relentless attackers flying under radar, guided by intelligence and cutting-edge technology. Yet, beyond the hardware, the real cost of war remains in the intangible. The lost futures, the broken trust, the scars on communities and hope. That stolen fuel could have powered ambulances rushing to hospitals. The steel might have reinforced schools or bridges. The circuits could have run classrooms and hospitals. Technology has made warfare faster, deadlier, and more remote. But it has not made it less brutal or less human. The battlefield extends beyond the physical, into ideas, hopes, and possibilities. If a swarm of inexpensive drones can erase an entire convoy in minutes, the question is no longer who controls more ground, it's who chooses to stop the destruction and rebuild the future. Peace isn't weakness, it's the recognition of the cause. War expands, consumes, and destroys. If warfare evolves, so must our responsibility to seek something better. If you found this video insightful, please hit like, subscribe, and join us for more in-depth battlefield analysis. This is Shield Military, where every strike tells a story. See you on the next mission.